everybody. Welcome back to Sins&Salaams, the podcast where we're talking life, love, and faith.
We're here to have the conversation that matters. So let's dive in.
I'm Rahima.
And it's your girl for the dose.
And welcome back to
The House.
So, girl, hey, so a lot of stuff has been going on lately. I feel like just getting on social media is so draining from me. Like, we already have, wars going on. We have genocide going on. We're seeing all this horrific things happening. And then kind of locally, we're seeing a lot of crazy stuff happening just within communities, our Muslim communities. And I'm like, it's like we can't get away from it.
Mm-mm. That's why I think a lot of people are just staying at home, minding their business. You don't see me, I don't see you, nothing. Because there's just too much going on, whether it's in social media, in real life, at work, everywhere.
It's crazy. I was just seeing, what was it, about a month ago? There was that Imam, I think, what is that, Imam Imam Sharif in Texas, I believe it was. Mm-hmm. And he just got pretty much arrested and charged for child exploitation. Okay. And I'm like, dang, like, I feel like I'm hearing this so often now. Right. It's actually scary. Like, it's scary. Like, these are like imams. And this was like a super popular guy, like thousands of followers, people like locally that knew him. Like, he seemed pretty renowned. Right. And it just made me making me rethink, like, dang, like, who literally can we trust?
I don't know. I just feel like it's been going on for years. I just feel like it's now coming out to light because people are always recording. People are always, calling people out. So I'm not surprised. I'm
like,
really not.
I know there was like the whole like public case that you could read up on her. I couldn't even find myself to like read it just because like having a daughter now and just being a woman myself, like it makes you become such like a fearmonger where you're like, ooh, I can't take them there. I can't leave them with this person. I can't do this. And I mean, I guess that you have to be that way to an extent, but then it's like, dang, like we're supposed to have these trusted people in our communities, leaders at that in our communities. And what he did, exploiting a child and the mother of the child, who's also was a recent convert, kind of taking advantage of that. Not saying she wasn't in the wrong, because she was definitely in the wrong. Because the mother got charged too for involving her daughter. Her federal charges. Wasn't she 10 years old or something like that?
I believe, yeah.
Sick, literally sick. And this was a married man. Married man.
Didn't he have kids?
I think he had kids. I didn't go too deep to figure out like what his family dynamic was, but he definitely had a wife, and it was the wife who spoke out and called the cops and made this aware of his doings. And from that they were able to be like find all this extra
curricular activities. I just feel, I don't know. I feel like growing up within the Muslim community, it's just like it's the same thing with the churches where, the priests, you just keep it on the down low. We don't talk about it. Nobody, I feel like with Muslims, we're always trying to fit into the Western world. So we're always looking for that validation. So when we do have issues like this, oh, this happened in Texas or this happened in this spot, people are like, oh my God, now people are going to have an image about, people already have an image about Islam. Do. So at this point, does it really matter? Right. And I just feel like with the imams and stuff like that, you should hold the standards higher, is what I personally think. But I ain't giving my kids nowhere.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like, especially, there's new Muslims coming into the community, people who are not too knowledgeable on certain things. People who already come from trauma, and then like they're putting their trust in these people. Like this is not the first story of like an imam or somebody who's been held to this higher, regard. There's been numerous stories, and unfortunately, a lot of them are also like immigrant. Like technically, I guess they're from other countries, coming into the communities, teaching these communities, trying to educate whatever, and people are confiding in them, finding these connections, and they take advantage of that. And they know who to take advantage of.
Absolutely.
Like, they're not going after the sister over here who's very knowledgeable, who knows the Quran and da-da-da-da. They're going after people who are like I don't know. I don't know if it's like they seem like damsels in distress or what it is, but they're taking full advantage of doing the most atrocious things.
Absolutely. But I feel like it comes back, like piggying back off of that. I feel like with situations like that, the issue that I have is when they are being called out and it's like now public or whatever it is. I just find it so annoying that they're always trying to throw the blame back on the female. Like, why are we not holding these imams, these higher people, accountable for their actions?
Right.
Like, if we strip away the religion, what are we going to say then? So I feel like that's where I have the issue. I mean, you know, stories here locally where, you know, there's imams or there's like brothers that are in higher within the Muslim community and there's evidence, there's stuff like that, but they always put the blame back on, well, if you didn't wear that, or if your outfit was not tight enough, or if you did not wear perfume, why can't we sit there and have this conversation with the guys and be like, brother, you're in the wrong, yada yada yada. So I feel like that's where
I think as Muslims we give people too much trust. Like we assume the best, which maybe I don't know, like it would suck to be it sucks to be in a world where you're just assuming the worst from someone and then just taking the good. But it's like we have to actually nowadays assume the worst.
Absolutely.
And just be, I don't know this person. Because I mean, a lot of times, like even this type of terrible stuff happens between your own family members. Shoot, your own spouses, like this type of stuff goes on. And then it's like, okay, we trust this person because they lead Salah. Their tajweed is good. They memorized. They can quote a hadith like this with their eyes. You know, they know this. But there is something sinister about them. There's always that something sinister. And it's okay, you know, someone might curse here and there. They may, I don't know, eat that candy that had a little bit of gelatin or whatever. But then you have people who are doing full on illegal, like not just like illegal in our country's law, illegal and completely haram.
Right.
And getting away with this stuff.
Getting away. It's like that story of what that happened during Ramadan of that guy that was like drugging sisters and
wait.
Yeah. I don't know I can't remember his name, but
the guy whose recitation was very renowned. He was like, dude, he has like 1 million followers. And I remember even people were telling there was men even telling me stories about him when he would come to the community to recite and everything. And I get, like his list of behaviors seemed to have started as early as like 16. And he's like, what, like, I don't even know, 23, 24, I don't know. And he's in his early 20s. He's in his early 20s, Hafiz of Quran, renowned, globally renowned. I'm like, and getting away with stuff. Like there's like open cases, federal cases against these people, and they're still somehow getting booked. Their communities are still like, oh, we don't know, backbiting.
I don't know how it's backbiting when we have clear evidence of like messages, of pictures. Like, how is that backbiting? The victims are coming out, like, but then it goes back to the notion of like people are always trying to shift the blame. And I feel like these people that are, I have the whatever millions of followers. I feel like in his head, he probably was like, I'm never going to get caught.
Absolutely.
I have all these followers. I got a whole wife. I have people are not going to believe the story. There's something called receipts. So my thing is people are bringing receipts. I'm 1,000%.
And it's not just like one. And even if it is one, that's still justifiable. Like that's still like a victim in some wrong that you did. Right. But these people are also like having multiple victims. And it makes it worse because like those women who were brave enough to like speak out and like try to seek justice for themselves and other women, them just stepping out and being brave enough to do that, open the doors for other women to like be comfortable to also share. Absolutely. But then I'm thinking like, wait, these women opened up. You know that these people are traveling to so many other countries, and I'm sure there's like so many other women who are experiencing whatever harm that this imam, sheikh, reciter, whatever is doing, and we'll never know. Like they're just
hold them accountable. I just feel like people need to hold people accountable. Lock them up. Bye. Hope you enjoyed that nasty food in jail. Goodbye.
No, they're dogs and they need to be put down. Like
you a diggity dog. Like for real. So I don't know.
It's sick because like I mean, just hearing that one, I'm like, I see the picture of that imam's face, like he's all smiling everywhere, posted up, they have him blasted everywhere, and I'm like, those are the people also I feel like that oftentimes can also have like a charming behavior. They can Absolutely. Be very they can be manipulative. They can be very understanding. You might come to them and they're like, everyone's welcome here. Like they make it seem like I don't know, they're so much more calming and stuff. And then they slowly know how to like I don't know, get shifted and then slowly take advantage of you. And then like you completely did whatever they requested, sent whatever they asked for. And now what?
Right. And then it's like blackmail. That's what, they use it as blackmail. And then I feel like it's also going back to what we were talking about previously, like within the Muslim community, they hold the women at a higher standard than males. I feel like when you're on the day of judgment from Allah, Allah's not going to be like, oh, because you're a guy, I'm going to lower. Absolutely not. So I feel like it goes back to if we start not only holding them accountable, but like if I was to come to you and you're the imam, like, hey, imam, he like touched me inappropriately or something like that, there needs to be action right away. It's not like, oh, I'll take care of it or I'll have a conversation with him. And this conversation is like 4 months later and now you're over here grooming some other sister. Because I just feel like also you have to look at people's behavior. If you're a whole imam or a scholar, whatever you want to call it, and you're taking sisters home and then you're like, the sister, oh, take off the hijab, you look better without it. And what? Like, to me, this is crazy. Or even like these private meetings. Like, there's a lot of them have like offices. Like, they have their own office usually, like, in the masjid, like, which understandable. Yeah, have your own office. But like, you're having these women come privately into your own, like, into the office, shutting the door. And then it's like, there's no cameras and there's nothing like that is recording that type of interaction. Who knows? Like, I've heard of some even having like burner phones. They're communicating, texting on another phone to people. That's crazy. It's just, I feel like the list goes on. I feel like I used to be shocked about hearing stuff just in this community, but like, it'd be mind blowing even hearing about like what's going on in other communities as well. And I'd just be like so disappointing because I'm like, that wasn't something that just happened. Like that's something that's been going on for a long time. And that one situation is what blew it up. And there's so many other situations and stories that we're just not gonna know about. Like, well, the woman may be a victim. She's not gonna say nothing. She feels scared to say anything. She feels like she's not gonna be protected. Because it seems like now we aren't being protected. I mean, the little girl, her own mother didn't protect her. So it's like, dang, we over here trying to look at the fathers, and the own mother didn't protect her daughter. That part. Or even the guy that was the story of how he used to drug his wife, and he had like multiple men come and do sexual acts on her. Like, come on now. Like, let's make the story make sense. That was literally. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know how many years he said that was going on. It was more than 40 years. Yeah, they weren't Muslim, but regardless. But regardless of the situation. They were married, yeah. And she thought, he would drug her like almost, I don't know if it was every night, but like pretty often at dinner time. And she's, feels super sleepy. And she would just not remember anything the following morning. And he convinced her that she was like, had early onset dementia. Which is crazy. Because she was forgetting and couldn't remember anything going on. Like, imagine like waking up, like, I'm sure she was probably in pain too, like, and knowing like, and there was some Muslim men on the list. That's what I'm saying. I was like, there was Muslim men on the list, and every single one of those men that spoke, because thank God, the only reason that guy even got exposed is because he recorded, yes, but he got exposed for like. It was like recording on women privately. Like, I don't know if it was like recording under their dresses. I know he had over 20,000 videos. That was what got it. And then when they searched more, they were able to find that there was those videos of his wife. Wow. And imagine like going, like finding this out, like you don't even remember anything that happened. You're like, this was going on. Like, yeah. But then going back to what we were saying, the guy that came into our community, I remember sisters were saying that he was slipping stuff. And then they would wake up and be like, I don't remember. And then what would he throw? Well, you shouldn't have came and hung out with me. So it's like, it's always getting thrown back on the.
I was hearing
the
that
girl.
stuff was
I
going
was
on at
like,
conventions with the same.
It's just
It was
wild.
crazy. Like, and there was even certain behaviors that even men were saying like he was doing that. I'm like, that wasn't like concerning. And then this man going to go pray afterward, like leads a lot afterwards. And I know he got good money out of traveling and getting booked and everything. And then
Okay, let's hope that money can switch out for them sins that you did, because it's not like, it's crazy. Because I feel like people don't think about like the aftermath of it, especially if you're a child. That's like trauma that you're probably going to take with you if you don't get the necessary help as a child. So now here you are as an adult and you're like, absolutely not. I don't want to get married. I'm da 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 kind of a thing. So you're like so traumatized. I feel like there's people never look at the long effects of things.
They don't care. I mean, these people don't care. Like they generally don't. They don't care if it's going to affect you. They have some sick desire at that moment and they act on it.
Well, not them. I'm talking about the community.
Well, yeah.
Like people, when you sit there and like, remember where they had that scandal here and, people were just sitting there and scandal. But like even the individual that actually during Ramadan, like went and printed out screenshots and then put it on
the cars.
Cars. And people still with evidence in your face. You would not. Absolutely not. I'm just like, damn, what kind of food is going on over there? Black magic. Like, come on now. Because for you to have clear evidence of this individual within the community doing it and you're still like batting an eye, I feel like you're also part of the problem.
No, absolutely. Because I think a lot of times people don't want to be involved in anything or say anything until it happens to themselves, like or someone close to them. And sometimes even then when it happens, they don't want to say nothing then either. That's shameful. We don't want to expose. Yes. And that's the issue is like the expose. Muslims always want to be like, we can't expose the sins. Like, we have to protect their image. We didn't see it, so it didn't happen. Don't ask, don't tell. If I didn't see it, I'm not aware of it. Even though it's like, listen, like I'm telling you, like I've been a victim of this. Like, I'm confused. Like,
but what are we exposing? That's the part I'm confused about. I feel like the stories like that what we had where sisters were like, okay, my father raped me, or, my uncle did sexual acts or something like that. For you to go to someone within the community or some family member I don't think that that's you making a public announcement, because it's already embarrassing to the person.
Right, it is.
So I just feel, why are we always making excuses? Right. Why can't we solve the problem?
Because even there's a lot of times I've heard stories, even like, let's say they're all like, hey, you know what, you're losing your position, you're losing your job, whatever it is. But we're not going to take it to authorities. Just leave.
Oh, I'm taking you to the authorities.
And what they do, they'll just say, just leave. We're upset with this. This is a problem, but we don't want to have you here anymore. So instead of calling the police and instead of, looking into it further, investigations and all that, I've heard of them literally being like, just go back home, like go back to your country. They move to a different city, they move to a different state, and then they're still continuing these behaviors, I'm assuming, wherever else they're going. And there's no connection to figure out like, oh, like that information is usually not even publicly spread for them to be like, when you do a background check, let's say, oh, I'm applying for this job, I'm getting this role in this mission. There's not even a proper background check that's being done to be able to say, oh, when you were in Texas, when you was in Michigan, you did XYZ, because they didn't even publicize and expose this behavior. But instead, now you're welcomed into our community and you're going to continue it. You're just going to wait till the right time.
You're 1,000%.
You're going to wait till you get whatever position you're looking for, whatever power, and then you're going to continue that behavior and cause more damage to more people, make Islam look even more bad for people who are coming to you or trusting in you, and you completely violate.
Absolutely. And I think that's why a lot of people like leave Islam sometimes, you know what I mean, when situations happen like that. And I feel like a lot of people don't like to look what is the core root of things. Like if that happened to you and that been happening for a while,
it's traumatic. And it means like a lot of times we are looking at it where we didn't experience that, and we're like, oh, they left us out, they're not practicing, they're not praying, they're not doing this. Well, yeah, you're right. Like, we're not even looking at the root cause. A lot of times it's not just people being like, I don't really agree with this. It's this XYZ happened to me, or I was taught Islam in such a toxic and terrible way, or this person themselves treated me in such a horrible way where it made me look at the religion or just the people in the community different. Because I've heard a lot of people who've, they're not really practicing, or they may have left Islam. It's not necessarily they don't believe. It's not like they don't believe in Allah. They don't believe in the teachings. They enjoy and love that. They'll still say, I believe in God. But it was how whoever taught them and treated them is what changes it. And I think that's the whole point, and why, like, even just dawah for us is so important. Like, why, not saying that we have to be like, dawah bros or whatever, dawah sisters going out and being like, you need to learn the word. Like, it's not to that extreme.
So let me ask you this. What do you think we can do as a community or as individuals within the Muslim community to help stop? I mean, we really can't stop it, but like, what do you think that we can help to prevent?
I mean, the prevention and avoiding is key for one. I think there's a list. I think for one, it starts in the home of trust and educating, whether that's educating our children about what is permissible and what is allowed and what they should tell and report. And then also as us as adults who are knowing, I guess, how to, I don't know, like if it's like navigating or like navigating if a situation like that is to happen, what type of conversation to have with our children or whoever is around us. Because again, like I said, a lot of times it is within the home that type of horrible thing happens, as it can be the closest people to you that are doing this.
Absolutely.
So I think it's just also like keeping watch, like paying attention to the behaviors of your children, because even we know it happens even with siblings, like paying attention to the behaviors, not just trusting anybody, not just leaving your child with anybody, and listening, paying attention to body language, like paying attention when you give the child a bath, things like that, like paying attention to this stuff. If your child's shutting down, if these people are shutting down, figuring it out, having that conversation. Like, I mean, like even you as someone who works on like behavioral, like health, I know you're able to see like the changes in somebody, or even when working with people who are victims of these terrible acts.
Right. And I feel like it also comes down to depending on the age group. So usually the younger, you'll see like the shutdown or becoming quiet, or you can have like the super extreme where they're like lashing out, or now they're fighting, or now they're like beating up siblings, and I feel like it's always trying to check in, doing a daily check-in with your kid. Like, hey, what happened at school? Because I feel like a lot of people are just like super shady about stuff where they try to make it seem like it's okay behavior, and it's really not.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I just feel like the other day my daughter was telling about, she's 10, and so she was telling me, oh, there was this teacher, substitute teacher, not even a teacher, was talking about, oh, what is you guys' social media? What do you need to know? So I was like, that's weird. Oh my God,
it's a kid. Yeah, well, you said she's 10, yeah.
And so she came and told me, she was like, Mama, you know what's weird? I said, I know that's right. I know that's a very weird. I was like, what?
Yeah, that's
absolutely not. I hurried up and was like, sent out an email. I was like, this is very inappropriate. And the fact that you sat there and like told them what your social media was, like, that's just even more weirder. Like, let's make the story make sense. I feel like it's different if like you're part of a dance team or something like that, and you're trying to, but I feel like there needs to be like, you know what I mean?
There should be,
this is the dance routine. So I don't know. I just feel like something.
Even then,
I was like,
you got to email it. I don't know. Emails the parents. That's the whole point.
I emailed.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's the communicating. I mean, I feel like with adults, the parent, whatever anyways, but I think there is like a lot of trust. Like, I think it's okay to try to have your child be independent in other ways of like learning how to get around and whatever.
But that's weird.
like, I mean, going to the grocery store and stuff by yourself, like those types of things. But there's also, we're in a world where anything can happen in a split second. And it's not, you could just be like, oh yeah, you go to the restroom, run to the restroom and something.
But even
happens.
the restroom stuff that they were telling, my mom literally was telling me about the other day, where people are going in there and you think like there's nobody in the bathroom, and they're over there like shaving. There was a girl that went in there and her mom was like, okay, she's been in there for a while. And so then she goes into the woman's bathroom and she's looking for her daughter. And then like this kid comes out with a hoodie, and this adult, she shaved her daughter's hair, dressed her up as a boy, and was trying to kidnap her.
What?
Let's make the story
so
make
completely
sense.
Trying to make her look different, and then
make her look different so she can take her out. So I just feel like you can't even like, yeah, you can trust your children to do this. It's the other people that I don't trust.
Right, exactly.
So I'm just like, absolutely not. I'm going eagle eyes. What do they call it? I am the
no,
eagle.
for real though.
Because it's not that I don't trust my kids. I don't trust.
And just like I think paying attention in general, like around, like I think once I used to pay, I used to kind of be, I feel like, oblivious to some stuff around. I did, but I feel like once you become like a mom, like your head's like on a swivel. Like even like when it comes to like just hearing other kids, like if you hear another kid cry and stuff, I'm listening to how that child's crying to be like, is that child hurt? Are they having fun? Like even trying to decipher those types of things. This child, I walk past them, like they have ripped clothes. You're like looking at things like to try to be like, is that your mama? Like, because this type of stuff happens in front of our eyes and we aren't even paying attention. Like we live in such a world where like we're just so consumed in us. Like we're on our phones, did it a texting call, whatever. If it's not about anybody else, that ain't my business. Oh, what's going on upstairs? You hear a fight upstairs? That ain't my business.
Right.
Well, they probably getting murdered. Like, and you just like, that ain't my business. Then when it gets called out,
oh man, I should have. I could have. What? That's crazy. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, but you didn't.
And it's a lot of shoulda, coulda, wouldas. And it's like, what can we do now? So like, I think just bringing it back to the question is, I think, the trust part is definitely important. Having those conversations with, our children from a very young age.
Right.
Continuing those conversations. And then also just kind of like how you mentioned, like actually holding these people accountable.
Absolutely.
When something happens, we have to say something. But
we're calling the authorities point blank in the period.
But so what do we say also? Because there's a handful of people who say, yes, we did do that. We told, we did contact authorities. We did try to push this, but so-and-so and so-and-so shut it down. They did not listen to us. They did not hear us out. They told me we're lying. And they pretty much a lot of times are blackmailing or gaslighting or whatever, manipulating somebody to the point where they're like, this is so stressful. I don't even want to move forward with, let's say, pushing the case or like what's the I guess solution to those people who are like, I went to the imam, I went to so and so, I told them, I told this man, I told that man, they didn't care.
I mean, I feel like in situations like that, then just having conversations. But I feel like if you hold people accountable and you're actually like, if you call the imam, let's just say like this imam is like known for, I don't know, doing X, Y, and Z. If you would be, because I feel like it only takes one person to start the ripple effect. So if that person starts it and you call the authorities and get him arrested and then, oh, you're lying or whatever, eventually it's like, what do they say? A person's behavior is always going to evolve. So yeah, they might have not believed you, but because you started it, I feel like later down the line, people are going to be like, okay, well, he touched my daughter or he touched my son or whatever. So I don't know. I just feel like it's one of those situations is you just got to speak up. Whether it's a family member, an imam, a scholar, whoever it is, because I just feel like a lot of people say it feels so
ashamed, like they feel, and I get it because, I mean, I don't know how that feels. Like, God forbid, us ever kind of have to experience that, but for somebody who like, it's so shocking and so traumatic for them, whether it's a man, a boy, girl, whatever, doesn't matter the gender, but when something like that happens to them, and they don't feel comfortable enough to confide in someone, or they just know they're not going to be listened to, like, because it happens. Like, people get shut down, like, they did everything right, and it's like, dang, like, now it pushes them to leave a snap, take their, whatever,
Absolutely. And I feel like in situations like that, always seek out therapy. I feel like we always do all these right things, but then people, oh, I don't want to go to therapy. That's just kind of weird. I feel like, just taking that a little bit further, starting therapy, kind of a thing. And then inshallah, because if everybody's calling them out, I guarantee they're going to be like, oh, man, I need to just like keep this on the DL or whatever. Because we do live in a world where everybody's worried about themselves. But 10 out of 10, we do also live in a world where everybody's recording. So if you are doing something crazy, you're 1000% going to be on social media before anything. I agree. So I don't know.
It's a lot. It's exhausting. And I think even though, yes, we are Muslims and we should, I guess, most of the time hold ourselves to a higher standard, we also have to know we are humans, and that's not to make an excuse for, I guess, behaviors and things like that. Absolutely. It's to also be a reminder that, yes, this person is human and they have the capability of doing whatever the heck any other human could do, regardless of religion. Absolutely. And we still have to steer clear. Like, it's like we have to always have our head on the swivel and pay attention to everything.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of times these people are telling us Islamic, like giving Islamic advice, teaching all this stuff, and it'd be completely wrong. But their tajweed's on point. They can recite straight off the dome. Like, but what they're teaching is literally not of Islam. Like, it's literally whatever they chose. They're making their own fatwas. They're creating their own Islam, honestly, and then going off that. Or even they themselves are not even knowledgeable enough of whatever it is they're teaching.
Right.
And they're just, he taught me this, so I taught that. And then,
right. But I feel like even like in situations like that, we live in an era where you can go to the internet. You can double check, you can triple check, you can go to, I don't know about TikTok, but like you can go to other platforms where you can see if this information is accurate, kind of a thing. So I just feel like there's no excuse.
People know right from wrong.
Absolutely.
Like, I think inherently, even as humans, like our intuition, our feelings, like our body can react to a certain way when you know something's wrong. And it can also react another way when you know something's right.
Right.
So when we know that somebody is like treating us badly or when they're doing X, Y, Z, whatever it is, we know that it's wrong, but whatever they're saying is trying to convince us that it's right. And that's when it becomes like for real issue.
If you have to convince me, that by itself is a red flag. Like, what are you convincing me for?
They're saying Islam this, Allah loves the believer or the person who does X, Y, Z. Okay. And it's just
followed by what? I'm gonna need for you to follow the before content, the after content. Like, stop trying to pick and choose what fits your life and what's beneficial to you.
Right.
You know.
And I mean, it's heartbreaking. I mean, I think just in general, like religions are always going to face people and followers that are teaching the wrong things and going about the wrong things and swearing it's in the name of whatever God that they follow. And that taints the image of religion for many people.
Right.
That's just, I guess, the cycle, the way of life with it. And I just take it as you do right by people. Pray that Allah blesses you with people who are going to do right by you.
Right. And that are going to have your back when you do come, you know, in situations, or if you're put in a situation, you know, whether it's a spouse, whether it's a scholar, whichever the case is, someone to have your back and be like, yeah, we're going to move forward.
Right.
Because I feel like we lost that sense of community. I honestly feel like. And I feel like it's more of, oh, I don't want to be involved because, man, I'm going to get in trouble. Like, what? What are you going to say on the day of judgment? That's what I be thinking.
Facts. And we need our protectors. Like, the men are supposed to be our protectors. We need our protectors. Like, you can have, you know, there's many people who be like, dang, like, my father is my protector, this and that. He's done passed away. Now who's your protector? Like, it's like, that leaves a lot of women, a lot of just people in general who are in the communities who are saying, who can we count on? Like, that is the question. I know who I can go to if I want to ask Islamic advice. I know who I can go to for this business. But who's going to protect? Like,
that's $1 million question.
Who's going to, when I have this problem, when I say I need 5 dudes to come pull up on this dude, who going to do it?
What are you? I don't know. Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to figure out is.
And I would just say, like, just keep yourself knowledgeable. I feel like the world that we live in, everything is like changing rapidly. So just keep yourself informed. You know, I feel like there's a lot of snakes out in this field, and there's some
dogs, snakes, and everything.
So you just have to be aware of
everything's coming at you. Like, everything. We're like, it's like nobody is safe, literally. No. You may think that you are, and you could go through it the next day. No. Your children could be someone who went through it the next day.
Absolutely.
You can think, oh, I got Allah, I read Quran, I do this, I pray, and then something crazy happens, something detrimental, something traumatic happens, and you thought what you thought was true, who you thought you could trust, is no longer that person.
Right.
And I know for me, like, I'm somebody who's always, if somebody says something happened, I'm going to believe them. I don't have to see them. If I trusted them my whole life and you tell me this person completely violated you, completely your mind, your body, whatever, I believe you. You ain't got to detail it. I believe you.
Right.
And what can we do now? Like, where can we get you connected to? What resources can we give you? Who can you go to that's going to take the next step to hold this person accountable and not just a slap on the wrist? You're suspended. you're fired.
Mm-hmm.
But go for somewhere else. No, I need your whole license and everything revoked. I need you behind bars.
Right. Locked up.
I mean, worse, honestly, for those types of people. But
I feel like also like making sure that you keep your mental health in check. I feel like we live in a world where everything is like rapid. So I feel like sometimes things can be happening in front of you, but you're just like so caught up in your own head that you don't even realize it.
Right.
So I always tell people like, just take 10 minutes a day. Just sit, turn off your phone, do whatever. Just be aware of your environment. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of times when you look at predators, I feel like predators have to sit there and look at what you do. So they're out to prey. So they're probably like, okay, I know that she's going to be here at 2:00. I know that she's going to do whatever, or he, or God. Absolutely not. So I would tell people like, switch it up, look at your environment, just be more in tune with your surroundings and not be like, oh, that would never happen to me. Anything can happen to anybody.
That's true. Whether you have a phone on you, nothing, like anything can happen in this like a split second. Because I know even in the Muslim community, like a lot of times, like if there's like events happening at the masjid, a lot of the times people are dropping their kids off. Mm-hmm. They drop their kids off, they leave. The parents are not with the kids. If the parents are there, they're in a completely separate part of the building. Your kids running around, whatever, and you just automatically like trust them. Like I used to always think like, dang, like these kids are outside at night. Like during Ramadan, we used to always be outside at night. Like that was, as kids, that was fun to us. Like, oh, let's go walk down the street to this gas station. And like as I'm older now, I'm like, oh my God, like we're in a public street. Like this is not like VIP access. You got a badge in. This is anybody could come in. Anybody could wear a hijab. Anybody could come in seeming like, oh, I'm here to convert, whatever the situation. Anybody can easily come and blend in and do whatever.
Can happen. Like, to me, I just thought that was like super crazy during Ramadan when people be like, oh, I'm just going down to the gas station in the dark.
I was that person. I go with friends, but that doesn't help. Like that doesn't, because even there was those woods too. That's like you're on the public street. Absolutely. Whether it's like you getting hit by a car, anything can happen.
What if you get kidnapped or somebody's like, okay, there's 5, whatever, and I'm gonna say, because there's always that one person's gonna run slow or something.
Wait, there was that story a few years ago where it was like the Somali girls or whatever. Mm-hmm. I forget what it was. Even, so I don't know which state.
The one with the boy where he was a toddler, and so mom gave dad to watch the son, and so the dad was just like, oh, I need to do tarawih, blah blah blah. So he gave his toddler son to his son that was 12 years old, and then the next thing you know, we finished tarawih and we can't find 45 minutes, and you telling me for 45 minutes you did not know where your toddler son was at,
because tarawih is like 45 minutes, and you're praying, like you're getting up and you're praying back to back.
But haram, like the stress of that child, that 12-year-old, like going up and down, running around. So now it's not jeopardizing only the toddler. You have both of your kids. And so then they ended up finding him on the side of the road, just sitting there, like, no samahallah. Like, what if a car hit him? And there was like no light. So they could have. But my thing is, like, I was like, nobody called the cops. For 45 minutes. For 45 minutes, they were sitting there after the 12-year-old was like, I can't find him, blah, 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 blah. And so the husband was like, oh my God, my wife is going to flip out.
They probably just took the time to try to find them. And during that time.
For 45 minutes?
Right.
To me, that's just absurd.
Right.
Absolutely
people
not.
Do that though.
For what?
A lot of people do that.
And I feel like it goes back to educating yourself. Literally, if a child is kidnapped or God forbid something was to happen, if you know you can't find this person, you better be dialing 911 with your emergency.
No, fact.
It's better that than like, no, somehow something else. Like, what if you guys did not find him within 45 minutes? And now you're stressed. And
then I'm sure that the boy is going to feel like crap. Like,
he did.
It's my fault. But really, it's the parents' fault. You didn't have to take him.
You could have told mom, like, nah, I'm trying to pray, like, take him, or whatever the situation is. But to hold that burden on that. So now I guarantee you he has some type of trauma from it, because
I would be, woo.
Like, let's make the story make sense. Like, that's just crazy. So
I don't know what I would do.
So I just feel like just being mindful if you have children. And I understand, single parents, whatever. I feel like there's so many different components, but like, I don't know.
It's also just kind of like, I was thinking about how I used to see, well, I still see a lot of people, like, let's say they go to the gas station, their child's in the car seat. Their baby sleep, whatever the situation. They'll go inside, they'll go inside to run somewhere and leave the baby in. Or even just like, let's say your driveway. I can't.
Well,
I can't do it.
I've
thought of it where I'm like, dang, yes, it would be so much more convenient for me to have to, like, yeah, it'd be convenient, I guess, technically faster if you just, okay, they buckled up, let me go run back in. But because they're like, oh, I gotta unbuckle them. They're asleep. They're this. They're
I don't
that.
care.
You will see me lugging a grocery bag and a car seat by a 30-pound baby car seat for the sake of that 2 minutes protection.
Listen, I know somebody, Haram, where he said that now she's locked up, but she left their daughter in the driveway. Now, it was 100 degrees outside, so you didn't even have the common sense to kick in, at least roll down your windows. Totally forgot about the child. The child was there for 30 minutes.
They went in the house?
So dad was at work. He was telling the story. Dad was at work. Mom was in the house. She was like, oh, I needed to finish putting on my makeup and whatever it is. Took the girl outside, put her in the car seat while it's hot. Went back inside the house, was getting ready, whatever. She's like, oh, just take a quick second. A quick second turned to over 30 minutes or whatever. And then when she came back outside, her daughter was non-responsive. Nothing like that. Haram ended up calling 911 and like she was pronounced deceased on site. So now the dad is like, I want to get remarried again, but that whole trauma of, I was like, ooh. So I just feel like people, it might be easier. I would rather be struggling than, God forbid, for someone to come and jump into my car and now
or I'm just thinking anything like,
I don't
know, your car just parked there, a car hit. Like there's I don't know, carjacking. I mean, we've seen that carjackings happen. Like even you can park your car, you're filling up gas and a carjacking happened because, you know, you have your keys in there, you have everything in there, your child's in there. You don't know what maybe the person might be like, oh, the kindness of my heart, I actually feel like I should stop and throw this kid out of the car and then I'll continue to go. That happens. Like people have done this. Okay, but no. You could have just, I don't know, either if you have somebody else, go fill up gas later or whatever, work around that. Just take the kid in with you.
Yeah, it's a lot to process. I don't know.
It's going to be more, I don't know, time consuming, whatever, but it will save you so much more time than a lifetime of regret for something that could happen within like literally the snap of a finger. If you could blink and then boom, car, whatever.
Right.
So I don't know. It's just, I think for us, we're just trying to, what's convenient for us? How can I do this fast? How can I make this quick? And we're not thinking, I think we have to I think we have to overthink. You have to overthink and think of like the worst scenarios. That's how I'd be thinking of like, this tornado is going to come and a hurricane's going to hit. We don't even live in a place where hurricane. Who knows?
Right. I mean, you never
think of the worst. Yeah, I don't know. But again, we are the first protectors of ourselves. Yep. Taking caution in things within the protectors of, we have children, our families, woman, man, whichever. We're the protectors first. A man being, having a man as an extra protection. Of course, always, firstly, protection from Allah.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, other people are not caring about us.
And you can't trust everybody.
We can't. I don't care if that person has their own kids and we're just like, they have this, they've been so sweet to us and caring.
But it's not only that. I feel like the generations, because I was having this conversation with my oldest, she was saying you can even have like abuse happen through social media. The amount of craziness that's going on, and I'm that parent. I'm like, we are sitting here. Who are you talking to? What's going on over there? Because you literally could just be sitting there watching Barbie, and the next thing you know, here comes like some type of sexual ad. Or what. I'm like, what? I
mean, even in the games that the kids are playing now, like the games, the chatting, live chatting.
You better have a live chat with the person in front of you. We are not doing absolutely none of that.
It's actually,
it's crazy,
scary.
Yeah, and not only that, they were saying like one of the what app was it? I don't even know, but they were saying that it's literally to lure kids in for sex trafficking. I can't. It's already stressful being a mom, and I feel like people don't understand like the amount of scenarios and situations that happen through your mind of like, dang, what if this or something, like, what is it, whatever it is. And you telling me sex trafficking, I ain't got time for it.
I used to be so scared, like even when like my daughter was like a newborn, because like seeing videos and stuff, like just, I was just like, oh my God, like what if someone tries to attack me while I have my baby with me? What if they try to snatch my baby out of my hands? Like, and it makes you scared, because you're like, dang, I don't even want to go out by my, like for a while, I didn't even want to go run errands by myself. Like it wasn't that something happened to me. It was just like, I'm genuinely like scared, because now it's not just me who I have to protect. Yep. It's like my child now, who's like, that's who I'm thinking about first. Like, beat me up, you could whatever. But
imagine if you have multiples. I literally like, oh my God.
And I remember I saw like a video, like it was like some video where like some high school like dude, he's like a wrestling team, whatever. It was like the gas station. He straight tore this dude up who was trying to take this woman's children from her. And she was like pregnant too. Like I was like, look at this high school kid. Like, come on now. Please, at this point, we need to get our kids, I guess, more into these self-defense stuff. Like I myself have been saying, I need to take these classes and stuff. Yeah. So I'm prepared at all times. At least it's better to be prepared than get got.
And they're going to get you first. Like, you ain't going to get me first, I'm going to get you.
Because most of these people, they don't, I mean, a lot of the times, like, I mean, when these crazy things happen, they themselves don't necessarily know defense, proper, like, self-defense. They just think they can overpower you. Mm-hmm. Like, they look around. They aren't going to go get that person who they think is going to actually fight back. They're going to take whatever's the easiest. Right. It's just like predator and prey. Like it's going to get whatever the easiest little animal that we can get. That one that's fighting back, those animals is running. So I don't know, y'all. Stay safe. Stay vigilant. Hold these people accountable, and don't fear. There may be backlash and maybe people who talk about you, but I promise it gets better. If you can shut it down and hopefully save other people from becoming future victims from an individual or individuals, do what you got to do. Right. If that part of that community or whoever is not welcoming and not supporting, find a new one. Create your own one. Right. And hopefully, like Allah always blesses us with people who will support us and look out for us and say, what can we do? Let's put it into this. Let's shut it down. I hear you. I understand. And I believe you. Because that line alone is just, I believe you. Right. Okay, now what we doing now? Like, right. So I guess that kind of wraps up kind of the discussion, because that stuff has been kind of weighing heavy on me as mothers of daughters, being women ourselves, being Muslim women.
It's stressful.
Yeah, we feel like we automatically got a target on our back and anything can happen. Mm-hmm. Today, thanks so much again for tuning into Sins and Salaams. You can find us on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Music. In the meantime, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and especially if there's any topics that they're, thinking to recommend,
let us know.
Please interact with us, send us DMs, so that we can continue creating content and telling stories and sharing your story. We will see you all next time when we're back at
Sins and Salaams.